Is Diet Coke worse than Coca Cola? So when you go out, should you pick Diet Coke? Should you pick Coca Cola? Should you pick Zero Coke? Should you not touch any of them? What's the truth? What's the reality? Welcome to the latest episode of the Mind Body Health podcast with myself, Dave Sheehan. And on this podcast, as always, my goal is always to educate you, motivate, and hopefully to inspire you to make the right choices that will empower your life and lead you to your best health, best productivity, help you achieve your dreams and goals. And again, to keep evolving into a better version of you. Stay committed to evolving into a better version of you until your last breath. If you make that promise and commitment to yourself, I can guarantee you your life will just continuously improve. You'll improve your success, you'll improve your fulfillment, and most importantly, you'll improve your happiness. Now, what's the root of happiness and well-being and everything? It's your health, of course. So this is why a lot of what I speak about on these podcasts, as well as the material I put out there or what I share with my clients and our group members and community members, is around health, around well-being. Because the bottom line is, if you've control of your mind, body, and health, it has a catalytic impact in every other area of life. It impacts everything. So the better you feel, everything else improves. The better your brain functions, everything improves. The better your energy, everything improves. The less bad mood you're in, everything improves. People like you more. You like yourself more even. So it has such a huge impact. And that takes me to it's one of a few things I'll speak about on this particular podcast, but just in terms of the title of it and what I open to it, is Diet Coke worse than Coca Cola? Well, let's rewind a bit and look historically at what actually happened. How did we go from Coca Cola to Coca Cola, Diet Coke, Zero Coke? And I don't know if that Coke Life is still out there or not, but that came out then as well. And then you've got all similar versions and all the other kind of soft drinks and other kind of drinks out there. So you had Coca Cola. What's in Coca Cola? You got 12 spoons of sugar and you've a concoction of chemicals, right? So that's Coca Cola. Does it taste nice? When you're drinking it on a regular basis, it tastes amazing. But it's more again that addiction that's happening. Your body is getting all that sugar in. It's a huge blast of sugar. Think of the size of the can and you got 12 spoons of sugar. So your insulin levels go through the roof. Your blood sugar goes through the roof. Now, what happens? Everything goes up. It must come down. So it comes down and it goes through the floor. Now, your body is an amazing machine in that it always can self-regulate. So what's it going to do when it drops to the floor? Your body won't want to be in that state, right? So it goes, okay, I need to come back up again. How do I come back up? What did it most recently? Okay, I had that. If I have that again, it'll bring it back up. In logical, right? So you want more Coke. This is why people can get in the habit of having 1.5, 2 liters of Coke a day. I myself, I'm not sure what age, I think maybe about 9 or 10 for a few years. I was having like a liter minimum of Coke every single day. But also that was just part of my bad nutrition in that I was consuming a lot of confectionery or chocolates and cakes, sweets and ice creams and crisps and all that kind of stuff. So, it'd be rare to find someone who drinks, let's say, a liter of Coke, but the rest of nutrition is amazing. So it usually is a sign of and a reflection of what the person's nutrition is like or their lifestyle is like. Okay. So when you see people walk around, they got bottles of Coke or Diet Coke or any of the other things like Pepsi or any of the other soft drinks or Monster and Red Bull and things now, there's no way that's a one-off. More often than not, 99% of the time, that's a regular drink for them. Like even the other day going to gym, I saw a guy, and this is like at 10:30, and he had a bottle of something. It could have been Coke, could have been any of those things. And he'd just come from the shop, and that was probably the first thing he put into his body that day. So what do you expect is going to happen when that's where you're putting in? So let me just get back to explaining, because I want you to understand what's happening with these products, what they're doing, what the best option for you is, which is the ultimate important point of this podcast and in what I share. So 12 spoons of sugar, you got loads of chemicals. Is that good for you? Of course it's not. Does it create cravings and addictions? Of course it does, because your body wants to regulate itself. So it'll want to put in something that's going to bring your blood sugars back up again. But then they go way up high again, then they drop again, way up high again, drop again. And then the stuff that's in it, like aspartame, all these things are very addictive. So you want it anyway. So you're craving it anyway because of the chemical balance within your body is looking for this stuff. Okay. And it's kicking in, probably giving you that bit of dopamine kick as well. So you want more of that. So they're cleverly designed. These products, like so many things in the world these days, cleverly designed to just get you hooked and addicted. And it's like a subscription. So is it good for you? No. Should you drink a lot of it? No. Should you drink it regularly? No. My view, if you never drank it again, I would be happy. I would never put it into my body ever. But that's my choice. And again, it's a case of you working towards where you want to be. The main thing is about being better and understanding things. Okay. That's why I want to explain this to you. So that's that. Now, different phases over the last, I suppose, 30, 40 years, there's been phases where fat has been attacked. And you see a shift in the food industry to accommodate that in terms of the products that are there. And I'll touch on that a little bit too. And you also had the sugar attack. So sugar's so bad for you. All sugar is bad for you. Stay away from sugar. It ruins your blood sugar. It spikes your insulin levels. It'll cause you diabetes. It causes all these different problems. So sugar gets attacked, fat gets attacked. So let's take the phase where fat or sugar was getting attacked. So it's all how bad sugar is, and it's blanket. Doesn't matter if it's a Mars bar or a banana. It's just sugar. It's bad for you. Okay. So this is the false mythical kind of information that's put out there that isn't telling the whole story. But again, why would they want you to know the whole story? They just want you to know what they want to tell you. Okay. That's how you make money. Industries have no interest in your health and well-being. Bottom line is a line that I always use. There's no money in healthy, happy people. So if you can make people as unhealthy as you can without killing them, if you can make people as unhappy as you can without them killing themselves, you're on a cash cow here. Every single person's worth a lot of money. Okay. That's why people are, yes, living longer, but not living better quality lives. They're kept alive because they're so medicated. And they're medicated because of the way they're living their life with such things as what I'm discussing in this podcast as well as other podcasts. Okay, so there's a phase of history where attacking sugar, a certain percentage of people will always pay attention to whatever is being put out there, whether it be right or wrong. Okay, whatever the media is putting out there, or experts, inverted commas, or industries, a certain percentage of people will listen to that and it will react accordingly. They'll change their habits. So, a certain percentage of people of the population, the world stopped having sugar. So they were looking for alternatives. Okay, what am I going to have instead? Because I can't have that. Just 12 spoons of sugar. There's no way I can have Coca Cola. 12 spoons of sugar, horrific. So they were going on to other products. What's Coca Cola going to do? Lose its market share just like that because there's this information being put out there, whether it's true or not? No, it's smart. It's a business. It's into profit. It doesn't want to lose money. It wants to keep making money, make more and more profit. So what does it do? It brings out a product called Diet Coke, ties in with the word diet, which people have such attachment to and such positive mentalities about, seeing it as being better and so on. That's why so many people are on diets. Again, it's insignificant that most people will never succeed at their diet long term and they'll keep going on diet after diet after diet. But again, people's brains don't seem to register into that point and just keep repeating the same cycle. But anyway, so the industry knows the word diet is perfect. So Diet Coke. So you can still have the product that you love and you love to taste and you're pretty much addicted to, but it's a diet version. So if it's a diet version, it must be good because it's got the word diet in it. And I don't know how many spoons of sugar are in it. Let's just pick if it was 3. Because the thing is, if you have 12 spoons of sugar and chemicals, right, and you create another product and you just take out all the sugar, how's it going to taste? It's going to taste like crap, right? Is anyone going to drink that? No. Even if you're giving it away for 1 cent, they're not going to drink it. So they had to make it palatable. Okay. They had to make it so people would, again, get addicted to it and stay on that. But they're also bought in psychologically in the fact it's diet. So they're being so much better by not having the original Coke, by having the Diet Coke. So I don't know how many exactly factually, but let's just pick if it's 3 spoons of sugar. Now, if you just had 3 spoons of sugar and the same chemicals that were in the original Coca Cola, it would still taste like crap because there's 9 spoons of sugar down. So how can they bridge that gap to make it palatable and taste nice and make people, again, love it and drink it regularly and get addicted to it? Well, you put in more chemicals. You put in more artificial sweeteners because they're not counting as calories. They're not counting as carbohydrates. They're not counting as sugars, which is all what's on the nutritional breakdown. So even though you're putting in loads of artificial sweeteners and all the chemicals and less sugar, your marketing is perfect because factually is correct while it's not telling you the whole story. It's giving the impression this is so much healthier for you. When the reality is, what I asked you to start, is Diet Coke worse than Coca-Cola? The answer is 100% yes. Now, why? Now, from the sugar point of view, is it better? Yes. Will it have less spikes in your insulin levels and your blood sugars? Yes. Is it better from that perspective? Yes. But why then am I saying it's worse? Well, it's worse because that's your blood sugars and all, and having Refined sugar is not good. But what's worse for your body is all the chemicals. The less you want to put in as little chemicals in your body as possible because they're toxic. And the more toxic your body is, the less healthy it is. And if you have a toxic environment, some of your body is predominantly like so much toxins, you're promoting disease. You're bringing on disease. Okay, so you're creating a body and an environment that is more conducive for disease to thrive. If you've something like Diet Coke, now it's not just Diet Coke now. I don't want people thinking I'm saying if you drink Diet Coke, you're definitely getting a disease. It's one contributing factor out of many. All the stuff we consume is having an impact, as well as what's around us, what we do, what we think, and so on. But we're isolating here and Coke, okay? So it's worse for you from a health perspective. It's why people need to start thinking more bigger picture, not always be thinking so short term. So if you think just as a short time, will I not get fat on the Diet Coke versus if I have the Coke? Well, you could kind of argue for you probably won't. You won't get as fat anyway because of the blood sugar increases, the difference in that, if everything else stays the same. But I'm talking about from a bigger picture, which is what people need to start buying into. You need to start seeing the big picture, see your lifestyle, see longevity, see your health in the future, see fighting disease, preventing disease. I always stress about push disease away, don't draw it towards you. So always be looking at ways of pushing it away, not drawing it towards you. So Diet Coke, for that perspective, is way worse because all those artificial sweeteners are so bad for you. Things like aspartame, so bad for you. And aspartame is something that got, inverted commas, banned. I think it was about 20 years ago because it is so bad and it like causes holes in your brain and everything. And I've seen like scans and everything that have shown this from people who consume so much of it. I knew some before who had terrible effects from it. So even hold your brain a whole lot. Like there's so many different things that it will do, aspartame. And it disappeared, but it's now coming back again. But what did they do? They just changed the name. They didn't call it aspartame anymore. Just called it something else. I think there was about 20, 30 different names, which was the same bloody product. And this is how corrupt the food industry is. And this is why it's so important for people to get more clued in. And this is why I'm so passionate about educating people on the actual truth around the food industry, as well as all kinds of industries, as well as what's best for them and their health. I want you to be the best you can be. I want you to feel the best you can be. I want your brain to work the way it can. I want you to feel great into long, long old age and be independent, be able to do whatever you want and not get disease, because you don't have to get disease. It's down to your lifestyle choices. So that's Diet Coke. So it's worse for that reason. Then when they started hammering sugar again, and then people became more conscious of, Jesus, I want stuff with no sugar. And certain products were coming out with no sugar. Other companies were creating things with no sugar, and that was being hammered everywhere and written on the front of packets. So Coca Cola was decided, because again, it's a genius industry, it's a business, it wants to make profit and so on, doesn't want to lose its share. We need to make something that has no sugar. So what did they do? Zero Coke. Zero sugar. Amazing. Must be super healthy. Must be super good for you. There's no sugar at all, no refined sugar. We've come from 12 spoons of sugar in Coca-Cola down to zero for zero. This is a miracle. This is amazing. I can drink my Coca-Cola and I can drink as much as I want, and it's so good for me. It's so good for me. It hasn't got all that insulin spiking stuff in it anymore. What's the reality of zero Coke? We got from 12 spoons to, let's say, around 3 with added chemicals and sweeteners. Now, again, if you take all the sugar out of Coca-Cola, how would that taste? Pretty manky, right? No one will drink that. Whatever about the diet, if it only had 3, no one's drinking zero if it has only the chemicals from the original Coca-Cola. So what you have to do is to pump it so full of artificial sweeteners and more chemicals. Again, make a cocktail basically that will be palatable. And again, psychologically, people are bought into it zero. So that ties in with, okay, we're being told don't eat sugar, it's so bad for you. You should be doing keto and paleo and no carbs, and carbs are evil and sugar is evil, and so on. So people are bought into that psychologically and emotionally. But then even if they look at the packet, you can see there's no sugar in it. So again, they're tied into that. But you have to make it taste good or they won't drink it. It doesn't matter how much they're emotionally and psychologically bought into it. If it doesn't taste good, they're not going to drink the thing. So you have to make sure it tastes good. So again, loads of artificial sweeteners, loads of chemicals, loads of whatever else maybe they put in, but making it drinkable. And it became drinkable. And loads of people now. So what you have now in society is you've still a good portion of people who will still drink Coca-Cola. You have a certain portion of people who will drink only diet. I think they're doing great with their diet. And you have a portion of people who will only drink zero. So Coca-Cola has a huge market share. Probably is more than it had before even, because it's serving those 3 areas and it's got such great marketing and so on. But what's the reality? Reality is, if you're going to drink Coca Cola or any of those products, drink the original. Drink the original that has 12 spoons of sugar, because you are far better off from a bigger picture point of view for your health and everything to have 12 spoons of sugar and less amounts of chemicals than to have no sugar whatsoever or little bit of sugar in the diet case and loads of artificial sweeteners and tons of toxic chemicals. So go, if from now on, if you're going to have Coca-Cola, have the original, please. Now, I hope that makes sense to you. Now, I'm not advocating for you to go drink Coca-Cola. If I had my way, I would have it banned because it's poison. Do you know Coca-Cola is the best? You know the best use for Coca-Cola? And I proved this to show my son so that he saw it. And do this. If you've got a dirty toilet or even dirty grouting or any area that's really dirty, I mean, really, like it's probably there for years, the stains, you can't get the stains off. I did this with a toilet in a house that we rented, and when we moved in, the toilet was disgusting. Stains there for years, I'd say. Couldn't scrub it off, nothing. So I said, you know what? Let's get some Coca-Cola, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to leave it overnight and see what happens. So put a liter of Coca-Cola into the toilet, left it there, said to my son, watch this now. See how, you know how it looks, yeah? Let's look at it in the morning, see what it looks like. In the morning, flush the toilet to get rid of it. It has never been cleaner. It looked like it was out of a shop. It was pristine, it was sparkling, it was shiny. I could practically see my face in it. It took everything off. Coca-Cola is undoubtedly the best cleaner you could ever use. And that's the original, I mean. Amazing. It'll clean rust, it'll clean everything. Now, the thing you have to remind yourself of then, when you're thinking about having it, what is that doing to your insides? No, I'm not telling you to never, ever drink Coke. I want you to just know what is the negative aspect of it. And if you are a regular drinker, I really encourage you to cut it down, because just think what it must be doing to your insides. Now, having it the odd time, it's not the end of the world. Okay, there's so many different products out there, alcohol, a whole lot that you could say, you know, they all have negative impacts internally. And if you give them up 100%, it would be the best thing for you. That's factually correct, but are people going to do it? No. And is it to be encouraged? I would never tell people to say never on most things, apart from McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Pringles. Okay, there are three things I would definitely say never, never. Now, when I say Coca-Cola, I don't mean just Coca-Cola. I mean equivalents. Pepsi is no different. Okay, and the other kind of equivalents out there. So I hope that makes sense. That was a bit longer than I expected, actually. But I wanted to make sure I explained it as well as I possibly could. So I hope you understand that. Now, let me know in the comments below whether that made sense to you. If you have any further questions, pop below as well. And I really would appreciate if you would answer the poll that you see at the end of this podcast. If you're watching Spotify, I'm not sure about the other platforms. And also, please subscribe and follow, because the more people, the more engagement in terms of follow, like, comments, engaging in polls, the more that the platforms will give exposure to it. And that means the more people will hear and the more people will be positively impacted, because I can only do so much on my own. It's through you that I can reach more people. So I'd really appreciate if you make sure you follow, subscribe, because that has a huge impact. But also, again, like, comment, things like that. I'd really appreciate it. So that's it for this episode of the Mind, Body, Head podcast. So is Diet Coke worse than Coca-Cola? You have your answer.